Hello everyone. Today we are going to explore one of the most important organelles in the cell, the mitochondria. Uh, this is often called as the powerhouse of the cell, uh, and we will in this session mainly talk about its structure, which includes the outer membrane, the inner membrane, cristae, and the electron transport chain, which is responsible for producing most of the cell's energy. What actually is a mitochondria? Mitochondria are double membraned bound organelles found in almost all eukaryotic cells, and their primary function is to produce ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. And the ATP is the energy currency of the cell. The cell may contain hundreds or even thousands of mitochondria depending upon its energy requirement. The outer membrane, let us discuss the outer membrane. The outer membrane forms the external boundary of the mitochondria, and it is smooth and continuous and contains special proteins called porins. Now, porins create channels that allow small molecules and ions to pass freely. Therefore, the outer membrane is relatively permeable. The function of the outer membrane is to protect the organelles and regulate the movement of the substance into and out of the mitochondria. We can imagine the outer membrane as the outer wall of the power plant. Second is the inner membrane. The inner membrane lies just inside the outer membrane and is highly specialized, and its main function is to uh, first feature is that it is highly selective and less permeable, and it is rich in proteins involved in ATP production. The third feature is that it contains transport proteins that regulate molecular movement, and it houses the enzyme and complexes of the electron transport chain. The function of the inner membrane is that it is the site of an oxidative phosphorylation, and also it is responsible for generating the ATP. The inner membrane is where the real energy production machinery is located. Uh, the inner membrane folds inward to form structures called cristae. Features of this cristae are like they are projections like fingers or shelf-like folds, and generally increase the surface area of the inner membrane. It contains ATP synthase enzyme and electron transport chain complexes. And the more cristae present, the greater the surface area available. Cells with high energy demand, such as cardiac muscle cells, possess mitochondria with numerous cristae. And then we have the electron transport chain. Now, the electron transport chain is the final stage of aerobic respiration, and the electron transport chain is embedded in the inner mitochondrial membrane and located along the cristae. The components of electron transport chain, this is very important. Electron transport chain comprises of complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, and complex 4. Then we have coenzyme Q, that is ubiquinone, and cytochrome C. uh, how it works. The electron transport chain, the first step in the is the electron donation. Where is the electron donated from? The NADH and FADH2 generated during the glycolysis and the Krebs cycle donate electron to the electron transport chain. Now, step 2 is electron transfer, that is, electron passes through a series of protein complexes. As electron moves from one complex to another, energy is released. Third stage is proton pumping. This released energy pumps hydrogen ion from the mitochondrial matrix into the intermembrane space. This creates a protein gradient. Then the fourth step is ATP synthesis. Hydrogen ion flows back into the matrix through the enzyme ATP synthase. The energy released during this movement is used to convert ADP into ATP. The oxygen as final electron acceptor. This is the fifth stage. And at the complex 4, the oxygen accepts electrons and combines with hydrogen ion to form water. Without oxygen, the electron transport chain stops functioning. Uh, the key points that one should remember is the electron transport chain produces majority of the cellular ATP. Approximately 30 to 32 ATP molecules are generated from one molecule of glucose, and most of this ATP comes from the oxidative phosphorylation within mitochondria. Clinical significance: defects in mitochondrial functions can lead to muscle weakness, neurological disorders, mitochondrial diseases, reduced cellular energy production, and because mitochondria generates energy, their dysfunction particularly affects organs with high energy demands such as the brain, heart, and muscles. To summarize, the outer membrane surrounds the mitochondria and contains porins. The inner membrane is highly selective and houses the ATP producing machinery. Crestes are fold of inner membrane that increases the surface area. The electron transport chain located on the cresti generate ATP through oxidative phosphorylation. Oxygen acts as the final electron acceptor, eh, enabling efficient energy production. Mitochondria truly deserves the title of powerhouse of the cell because they convert nutrients into the energy that powers life itself.